Okay, so as you saw in that intro, this is a fully working wireless redstone signal transmitter. So over here there is this little machine. So this is basically, it detects a skeleton taking damage and activates that. Now every 4 times this activates, it heals the skeleton with a bunch of harming potions. That's not necessary, but if you want to use it a lot, you might want to put that in. This, basically what it does is, so see this wind charge, when you activate it, just puts a new wind charge there and then pushes that wind charge out there where the arrow hits it, pushes it in the same direction the skeleton's facing, and since it's aggroed on a snow golem that it can never hit, oh yeah, you do actually have to worry about it de-aggroing the snow golem when you restart the world. But once it's done that, it should be fully working. So now the snow golem should be there, skeleton's aggroed on it, and when that happens, since it's always facing the same direction, the wind charge would go in that direction, hit the zombie, which damages the skeleton from anywhere in the world, which that skulk sensor can pick up on and create a redstone signal. So that's basically the basics of how it works. And then, so some little tricks for building this in survival are, so one, what you actually just saw me do with the snow golem, build it on this block, and then it will hit the skeleton once and you push it into the boat. Sometimes it doesn't work, so you got to get the timing basically just right, and so after a few tries you should get it there. Okay, so next tip for this is getting the arrow actually into the machine. Okay, so to get the skeleton into this area, you first want to do is come up to where you've got a skeleton. So for example, so now that it's night, for example, skeleton spawned here. So get the skeleton into a boat, and then move the boat over the hole. So now, skeleton, if you turn on hitboxes, it should be there. So, in the hole. Okay, so first, get a tripwire or something like this, and then make just a simple little redstone staircase. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. And bring it down, so something like this. Then you stand here, and then go, so using a trapdoor like this, and then go under the block, but still where the skeleton can see you. And then once you're here in this block, if you're in survival mode, the skeleton should have shot the arrow. And then when you come out, there you go. You've got an arrow. And then, okay, so get the corner you want it to be in, and then get a button, and zero tick these pistons. And there, you can destroy this machine again, and you've got the arrow. Now, one other thing you will want to do is, for now, observer clock down here. Okay, and then build something like this to stop the arrow from despawning after you've done that. And see, the arrow will do this weird bouncy thing. It works if you break the blocks around it. You can just got an arrow floating there. And there you go, you have the arrow, which you can then build the whole machine around. Okay, so the next trick for building this in survival is, so there would be an amethyst bud there, but you want to break that for now. And then you get a rail there and there. Then get a minecart. And you want to break that block, and put a block to the side of that to get your zombie here. which you've got to make sure it's one that can pick up blocks, and push it into the minecart. Then you can get the minecart down there, and if you break this block, that rail in there should break, and then you can put the block back, and then do that on top. And then if you turn on hitboxes, break the minecart, punch the zombie out onto the other side, and put the amethyst crystal in. And there you go, you've got the zombie. Now you just got to put the armor on him. Okay, so the last thing that you're going to want to know about. These are some things that you're going to need to put in that won't be included in the schematic. Obviously, fill these chests with as many harming potions as you possibly can. Now, another thing that is not in the schematic, this crafter must have, it doesn't matter which slots, but it must have 7 slots disabled. So that way, this comparator is pointing into the calibrated sculk sensor. The little purple line in this calibrated sculk sensor also does have to be facing towards the comparator, because that's the side that it gets the signal from. Okay, now this armor on the skeleton doesn't need to be there at all, but this machine is made for protection for armor on the skeleton. Also, if too many arrows are building up there, you can just quickly flip the fence gate and they all fall down into the void. Now the last thing you also want to do is, obviously, now if you want to increase the amount of time, which I haven't done, that this zombie can survive, if you enchant it with projectile protection 4 on all the armor, you'll be able to change this to extend the amount of times that it has to throw a splash potion. Also, obviously, the zombie has to be wearing full Thorns 3 armor and holding any Thorns 3 item. It doesn't have to be a chest plate. Now, you will also, now I don't know where it is in here, but you will want the dispenser, the hopper here, to have a wooden shovel, which will eventually tick around into one of these there. So once you've got that, you also want to do the same in here, and the place you want to put this one is in this one. It should not have a snowball in it, and there's the shovel. And then make sure that there's no random items in there, because that wouldn't be good for the machine. That means that the skeleton's going to get healed a lot more often. Or if there's too many random items in there, it can actually mean it doesn't get healed at all. Now, this boat, although it might seem weird, now, one thing you might normally do is just think, okay, put the boat in the direction you want them to be facing. What you actually want to do, if you want to be able to easily replace the snow golem, if something happens to it, you will want to actually have the boat facing the opposite direction. Because if the snow golem's in the back, which is where it will be when you replace it, the skeleton will look backwards. So if you put the boat facing the opposite direction to the direction it should be facing, that means it should be easy to replace the snow golem, just as long as you make sure the snow golem's in the back of the boat, not the front. Now, the other thing you notice, now if you just build them exactly how the schematic shows, it should be perfectly fine. If for some reason you need to rotate this, you can actually rotate the machine and it works perfectly fine. The only thing you will have to remember is, because this is the skeleton's arrow, so when it hits the wind charge goes in the direction of the skeleton. When you rotate this machine, you also have to rotate this machine. Okay, so now that you've seen this machine, just remember, if there's something that you're not sure if you can change or not in the schematic, because of how detailed and specific this redstone machine is, especially this part here, is don't change anything, because it could break it. For example, if you change this block to something like, I don't know, for example, a hay bale, the machine won't work. Or if you change this to a normal skulk sensor, again, the machine will technically work, but it will randomly activate whenever someone goes past it. Other thing you'll also have to remember is this block is a dispenser. All these ones are droppers. This block is a dispenser. And these two are droppers.